Friends, friends, friends. Lean in and let me tell you something. Before I became a community advocate or involved myself in local and state politics to help guide others, I was a teenage mother. When I found out I was pregnant at the age of 18, I was hit with a storm of emotions. I was anxious and scared because this life-changing event was unexpected and unplanned. However, more than anything, I felt flutters of excitement. As a little girl, I dreamed about growing up, getting married in this luxurious wedding, and raising a family. After all, I watched my mom and dad, who raised my siblings and me, in a loving, spirit-filled, two-parent household, make it look so easy. So yes, this was my dream. I thought I had the same, a stable, healthy relationship that would eventually lead to matrimony and years of love. Woo, was I dreaming? I couldn't have been more wrong. I had just climbed onto a roller coaster ride, and I didn't even know it. Come take this ride with me. Across town, another young woman was in a committed relationship with her high school sweetheart, a man she cared about deeply. They have a daughter together. She is a working mother who cares for her family and loved ones. Her name is Michelle. Michelle is a little bothered when she hears chatter that her boyfriend may be seeing another woman. Of course, Decatur is small enough that rumors can spread rampant, and it's hard to know really what to believe. She asks him about the rumors, and he adamantly denies them. So she puts those thoughts aside for now because why should she doubt her man's loyalty? Well, yes, you guessed it. As it turns out, her man was my man too. Not after long after becoming pregnant, I noticed some things that just did not sit well with me. My partner's phone was off during specific hours. We only went limited places together. He would make excuses for why I couldn't see his family. I was getting concerned about the strength of our relationship, and I mean very concerned. Well, one day, a close cousin of mine who was a few years older than me sat me down, and I could tell from the tone of her voice that what she was about to say would not be good news. She firmly told me that the man I love and was expecting a child with was a two-timing, lying, good-for-nothing son of a gigolo, a rolling stone. She didn't quite put it in those terms, but in my mind and heart, that's all I heard. And my heart was broken. And I immediately confronted him about what had been told to me. And he wanted to deny it, but he couldn't. And the more he talked, the more he put it all back on me. He would have left her a long time ago if I had just done such and such, or that I wasn't making enough mature enough decisions for me, and he didn't want to wait for me as I grew up. The more he gaslighted me, the more I disliked her. Well, during a chance encounter at the supermarket where I worked, I saw Michelle from a distance. Immediately, I knew who she was. And when she looked up and we locked eyes, she knew who I was too. I was looking directly at my nemesis. And in my head, I was rehearsing all the words I had prepared to say to her when I seen her. But oh my gosh, I could not catch my breath. I put my hand across my chest because I thought I thought I was having a big one. When I finally caught my breath and my head stopped spinning, I could see that she was pregnant too. Woo! In February of 1997, I had my son Braxton. He was healthy, and in the moments after giving birth, I was overcome with a sense of divine purpose and the maternal desire to be the best mother that I could be. His father and I had a conversation in which he told me he wanted to be a part of his son's life, and I agreed and I respected that. I wanted him to be in his son's life, but I didn't want him in mine. I looked him in the eye and said, "This is where your relationship with him begins and our relationship ends." Now, how was that for a grown-up decision? In June of 1997, Michelle gave birth to her son, James. He was born 3 months prematurely, and he stayed in the neonatal unit in Springfield for several weeks. And as a mother with a newborn son, I prayed for him, because that was my son's brother. So in that year, life changed unexpectedly for two women who were both new mothers. And for me, embracing the journey of being a single mother and raising a son alone was not easy. Still, I knew I had to be strong and face that challenge head on. I had to tap into that lioness spirit that God gave me, that spirit that forces me to rise when all else is sinking. That maternal instinct that overcomes all barriers. I was not going to fail in motherhood. I believed in myself and in my family's support system. A few years later, God added to my support system in a very unexpected way. My son Braxton was 3, and I was mandated to work overtime. I desperately needed someone to pick up my son from daycare before they closed. My mom worked out of town. My dad nor my son's father were available, and my sister was commuting back and forth from a job in Peoria. So I was shifting to full-on panic mode. I hesitantly reached out to my son's paternal grandmother, and she wasn't available either. But she offered me a suggestion in this dire situation. She convinced me that Michelle can pick him up and that she was willing to do so. Really? That's her solution? Send my son with a woman I barely knew or liked? And what, hope for the best? But if you heard me, I was desperate. And as a single mom, I needed my job. So I reluctantly agreed. I went to Michelle's house later to pick up my son, and I found him playing with his brother in the front room, having the best time. And to my surprise, I had a wonderful conversation with Michelle. She was funny, friendly, and genuine. And secretly, I kind of liked her. I sincerely mean we hit it off immediately. When I went home and sat down after a long and full day, I realized that my anger towards her may have been misguided. Instead of being my nemesis, perhaps we could be friends. Turns out, Michelle became someone I could rely on. When I needed to get my son into a select school that he could only be accepted if he won the lottery or had a sibling there, she made the case that because they were siblings and her son was already there, that my son should get entry. And during the boys' high school years, when they had to go all the way out to Decatur High School while renovations were being made to Eisenhower, she picked my son up every morning after working the overnight shift. And I would pick them up every afternoon. We had that arrangement. We were both there for each other because we simply made a good team, and we were better together. On my 40th birthday, when I looked into the crowd, celebrating my special day, there she was. Our friendship has grown over the years. Our sons are both 27, and we have grandkids now. Michelle is a gem. She actually organizes play dates for all the kids at our house. I'm not there yet. But she is a great person and a great friend, and truly one of God's greatest gifts. Out of pain and agony, God birthed a friendship. Looking back, I can only imagine what life would have been like if I had not trusted my son with her that one fateful afternoon, or if I had not redirected my anger where it belonged, to the man who played us both. I am grateful to be able to look back and share this story without any shame or embarrassment. Every bit of this life experience shaped me, led me closer to God and closer to my purpose in life. I don't regret any of it. I cannot imagine my life without Michelle and her family. Women, we need one another. We are indeed better together.